Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggy. Upper right hand corner we have EG Incontrol starting as the blue Protoss. Bottom left hand corner we have Liquid TLO starting as the red Terran. And Incontrol has his work cut out for him. This is game 3 from MLG Dallas, the best of 5, and he's already down 0-2. Game 1, game 2, TLO showing why he is such a dangerous player. Fantastic build orders, and on top of that, even if you look at the last match, extreme execution. TLO, brilliant build order, I have to say, but on top of that, the moment Incontrol had an opportunity to defend, TLO executed near flawlessly, showing that he deserves to be at this high stage this far in the tournament and is a contender for the #1 position. In the meantime, he is just planting that supply depot near that supply lines, and Incontrol with an early pylon at kind of an awkward spot actually, and I almost wonder, I'm kind of curious what the strategy behind this is, because I know Incontrol usually thinks these things out, and this is pretty significant early. Usually you will see the pylons a little bit closer to the nexus, because it is possible to see Reapers on this map, because this is a nice wall traversal right there. But on top of it, oftentimes you'll see gateways at least somewhat close to the ramp to provide a little bit of blockade sometimes. But in the meantime, this pylon almost leads to believe that Incontrol is thinking about protecting tech or something along those lines. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he wants to have a little bit more enclosed territory, SimCity, a bit more to protect his probes against Hellions. I'm not quite sure, and I'll maybe ask him about that later, but that is very interesting positioning, I will say, right off the board. And it looks like in the meantime, Probe has already taken significant damage in that harassment of that barracks. TLO doing a fantastic job of boxing it out, and this is definitely going to limit Incontrol's information, because if he can't keep this Probe alive, particularly early against that Marine, he will not be able to keep an eye on TLO, and specifically whether he takes that second gas or not. And it looks like Incontrol wants to pattern TLO's build, is moving in, nice gas steal. This is going to force TLO to play a little bit more mineral heavy to start, so at the very least, probably a fast expansion. If he's going up against a Banshee harass, it'll be somewhat delayed. Unfortunately, this is still a pretty decent map for Hellions in all matchups, honestly, and it looks like Incontrol is moving out. He's got that cybernetics core, and again, kind of odd placement. Let's see if he goes Stalker first to try to deny some information. Looks like he's still expending the Chrono Boost on the Nexus to get the probe, so nothing too crazy there. First Marine out for TLO, just whacking away at that assimilator. That probe actually still in the base gathering information. That shows you how concerned Incontrol is about TLO, and it looked like for a second he was thinking about attacking that Marine. Okay, now thinking about attacking that Marine, but 2 Marines out. Will he escape? Ooh, the probe does escape with its life. SCV starting to creep up, still no units from Incontrol at this stage, so it does not look like he's going to open up Zealot first, getting a second assimilator though, which leads to believe that once again he's going for a more standard long-term macro sort of build. It is possible again he could go air a hidden SCV now for TLO, and this could be critical later in the match. It doesn't look like Incontrol is going to fall for it though. He's already got a probe moving out there. It looked like the Stalker was actually rallied to, he's actually rallied to that SCV, so Incontrol wants to take out this SCV early, put TLO in the dark, and in the meantime know that he's going up against some sort of early mineral heavy build. Currently economically it looks like Incontrol does have a slight lead. Let's see if that maintains through the mid game. Factory is up and running. Let's see if we'll see Hellions out in the field. Looks like we will. It's just such a wide exposed natural expansion, and it looks like a little bit of debris of an SCV there, and on top, and second gateway for Incontrol. And on top of that, just because of the almost multiple paths, just so many angles that armies can take here, just kind of thumbing it out there on the mini map, because there's so many angles you can take. As a result, you really need those Hellions to keep an eye on your opponent's army, and it looks like TLO going for a very similar build to last match, getting an early starport, perhaps wanting to elevator the troops up, but unfortunately I think Incontrol going with a little bit more, never mind, actually he did go a gateway to follow, but I think the second gateway was first before that robotics facility in this build order, so he should have a few more troops out to deal with this attack. The Hellion already starting to move out in the field, and I think Incontrol is going to, it looks like he is chrono boosting additional sentries, he is going very defensive here to start, but I think he's going to have more troops to cope with this. In the meantime, TLO a little bit wary of what Incontrol's doing. He has no clue what he's really up to, and as a result, actually getting a bunker on his front door. On top of that, he needs to buy time just in case there was an attack coming in from Incontrol, because he's teching up, and as a result might have fewer units against some sort of 4-gate push, something like that at this stage. So preventative bunker, as well as a Banshee to start. Let's see if he gets cloaking as well to throw this at Incontrol. Nice comsat, going to catch that third gateway, also going to see that robo, and now he's going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on inside Incontrol's base. Incontrol now moving forward with that observer, so that should, if he can keep an eye on that Banshee, Should be pretty effective. That bunker now recycling to, and once he realizes, okay, well, he's not expanding, but at the same time, he's not being extremely aggressive with these troop counts. And Incontrol now moving out to take that natural expansion and try to build that economy up. That observer moving in. It doesn't look like it's going to see that Banshee. And let's see if Incontrol actually gets a second observer out, or as soon as he sees, oh, this could actually be terrible as far as his timing goes. I don't think Cloak is upgrading here. At least I didn't see Cloak upgrading yet. It looks like it's just a second Banshee. With these sentries, with these stalkers, they should be able to deal with it without too much economic damage, and it looks like TLO kind of almost feels a little bit awkward in this build. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do with this. Perhaps that gas seal really threw him off. Now getting an additional additional barracks, additional tech lab, and also getting a command center up. Incontrol feels a lot more, I gotta say, confident as far as the way this game is going, and that gas seal must have really thrown TLO off. He's playing somewhat sloppy, but the Banshee moving in towards the back of Incontrol's base, and oh, it looks like it is already going to be able to get a couple of kills. Definitely going to disrupt Incontrol. The thing is, it's such a heavy commitment early. If TLO cannot save this Banshee, it's going to be a lot of trouble, and it looks like he only managed to get 2 kills, and that's definitely not worth the investment in the Banshee play. But he's now moving out with the second Banshee, several SCVs, and it looks like several Marines as well as Hellions, but that is completely spotted by Incontrol. It looks like he's just going to sit back in the corner, and actually, let's see if, oh, this is going to be difficult, because he knows this army's coming, but he still wants to pin a lot of these troops back to deal with this Banshee out on the front. In the meantime, he's only got 2 stalkers at his natural expansion, so this is kind of a scary situation. Starting to move back around. TLO needs to have success with this attack, because if he does not, he's going to be in a lot of trouble over the long run. It looks like that Banshee now engaging actually just a stalker, still got a couple kills. So still doing its job, basically, but having a little bit more difficulty opening things up. Looks like Hellions diving in, just trying to test. I think that wasn't really necessarily to kill probes. I think that was more to get a good look at Incontrol's army size and just kind of size up whether this attack will be super functional. The Hellions actually getting pinned a little bit in the front, and a Banshee forward is actually going to take some additional damage. So TLO being a little bit over-aggressive, perhaps. And in the meantime, it looks like that Banshee is just sitting in that corner. Incontrol gaining an echo, well, actually a little bit behind in Harvester, so that Banshee has made a difference. But specifically, he has managed to take the economic lead momentarily by taking that natural expansion before TLO. TLO now dumping the 2 mules to catch up here. Now it looks like that Banshee able to get another angle, that Stalker being somewhat lazy, and TLO just executing very well, now down to 40 health. Incontrol getting aggressive, starting to move forward. Bit of a comsat there just to see the composition of the army, and that Colossus does not have a lot of opposition. I think that, yeah, that observer actually got picked out of the air. How did he even manage that? Brilliant micro. Looks like another Banshee still at the corner. Looks like their stalkers there to deal with it, as well as that Hellion. But Incontrol diving into this natural, and I think he's got a pretty good composition. If he can execute well, let's see if he can get one more force field down, and he's definitely isolating that attack. That army was cut in half. That Colossus is going to die, but I think he's got plenty to clean up this troop, and really babysitting that Colossus well, able to back it off, and TLO just realizing that army was crushed. He was really far behind economically. He had committed too much with Banshee early, is going to GG and move on to game 3, particularly with, wow, brilliant and beautiful army split there early for Incontrol. Absolutely fantastic. Bring up the Harvester count just so you guys can see, even though TLO did have, well, actually, I think TLO could have maybe lifted off and fought that out a little longer, but Incontrol would have definitely had the lead. But knowing it's 2-0, he wants to go on to a game 4, try to win it there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.